Welcome boys and girls, Costin here with my essential guide for Dechala, the Denied One in Total War Warhammer 3 Immortal Empires in order to maximize her campaign potential. You start a campaign with a Druki Anointed hero. You start with a unit of Champions of Slaanesh, 2 units of Devotees of Slaanesh, and 4 units of Devotees of Slaanesh with spears or just regular weapons. I would call them swords, but I'm not quite sure that really fits. One of the things you should consider is the fact that in the Hidden Landing, you will only be able to recruit Devoted Marauders of Slaanesh. You could get rid of the barracks over there and instead go for the Shrine of Decadence, which would give you Demonettes, and then later on Forsaken and Slangors, but that is not necessarily important at the beginning of the campaign, because when you take the gateway to Koresh as your provincial capital, you will be able to get a building that allows you to recruit Forsaken and then later on higher end units. Now, your starting position, you've got Nakai to the north of you, but you can ignore him for a while. He is not really a priority at the moment. One recommendation, if you do want to get some money, is to declare war on the Dead Flank fleet. The reason you want to do so, it will give you some money and you will probably be able to even get a peace agreement. Now, you do start at war with Greenskins, and they have one army right here, and if I use Toggle Fog of War, they have another army right here. One of the things to mention about Dechala is you kind of want to fight as many field battles as you possibly can, and that means using ambush tactics. So you go over here, you fight this battle, you take the mountain pass, and you should take it as a thrall camp. And same with the southern outpost. So let's just skip ahead a bit. Once you've taken the mountain pass as a thrall camp, you will get an income building with the carver's cages. You actually want to get rid of that. Money is not really going to be as much of a problem early on as thralls are going to be. What you want are thralls, you want growth, but really you just want to get the toll, you want to get the field treatment for that kind of growth. Because thralls are so very important in order to build up your pleasure palaces. You can also use the pleasure party act in order to further increase your growth. Getting growth is important for these kind of minor settlements. It's not important for the pleasure palaces, but it is important for the minor settlements. Now, research-wise, what you want to do is you want to start getting aberrant promiscuity, rather, and get rigorous chastisement for the construction time of -1 turn for provincial capital settlement buildings. You can also go even further into grateful enslavement, but that's not necessarily important. Again, money is not going to be a problem, and you'll see in just a bit later. You also start with the cult right here in the bamboo crossing. We're going to destroy this building in order to get a bit more money right here. So between declarations of war and not actually recruiting as many troops as you could. Like, yes, I'm going to recruit some devoted marauders of Slaanesh right here, but it's not really a priority to get as many troops recruited as possible. So anyway, with that in mind, that is turn 1. In terms of skill lines, what you want with Dechala is to get Root Marcher and Dominating Presence for the experience, campaign movement range as well. With the Druki Anointed, you should focus on increasing the replenishment as quickly as possible, right there, and recruiting a second Lord. The second Lord will be bait for the Greenskins, because remember, we want enemies to engage us in field battles, but of course they're not going to do so if they think your army is more powerful than theirs. So that means we need to lure them out. So right here on turn 2, what I'm going to do is move Dechala just outside of the mountain pass and then switch her to an ambush stance. Now, as you can see, the Greenskin army is right here in this position. And that means they actually have enough movement range to be able to march against my lord right here. Now, because I put Dechala in an ambush stance right as I exited the mountain pass, the chance of them really coming to attack me is going to be fairly high. So that is what I'm going to take advantage of right here in this situation. And you kind of want to do this several times over at the beginning of your campaign. Just lure enemies into ambushes so you can completely annihilate them and get the extra benefits. I would probably recommend fighting these kind of battles manually, but as you can see, they've come out. You can also use Slaanesh Corruption, not Seduction, but really Corruption. And right here, we can get a couple of extra thralls, though again, it's better if you fight these manually, you'll get more thralls, but the reason is both money and experience in this campaign. I think Dechala, you know, she was just on the limit right there. Anyway, so you take this next element, you start upgrading the mountain pass. You want to get to tier 2 because of the thrall situation right there. You can obviously transfer these units to Decala's army, get extra replenishment by being an assailant, occupy this as another thrall camp, get more growth, and then you just repeat this and take the Gateway of Koresh. It's pretty simple, pretty clear. Skill line wise, you can focus on units, but really you could just focus on Dechala. Keep in mind that the best way to level up a Legendary Lord is to spend 5-6 skill points and then save up for the special skill line, so you can get it all at once your Legendary Lord is rank 12. Don't worry too much about Nakai. He will be a problem later, but he's not going to be a problem right now. You don't even need more units at the moment because you certainly have enough force. Hell, Dechala could solo those entire armies on her own. That's how powerful she is. Yeah, get Rune Marcher. Given the dynamics of this starting position, I would say it's vital to just be able to navigate this as quickly as possible. So you've got 2 thrall camps right here. Both of them are going to start being tier 2 soon enough, and that's something you're going to want to use right here. So I have taken the Pleasure Palace, and because you gain a certain number of thralls through an objective when you do take that Pleasure Palace, it's one of those specific objectives, establish a Pleasure Palace, that allows you to start quickly, assuming you have gathered up 500 beforehand. That allows you to start getting it to tier 2. Furthermore, you do also have the Flencer's Workshop right here, and that allows you to recruit Sangors and Forsaken of Slaanesh. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start getting all these structures to a higher tier. You don't need to construct everything right now, but of course you can go for the Holes of Blade and Lash if you so desire. Right here. So not even upgrading that right now. But keep in mind, all of the buildings in a Pleasure Palace cost thralls. So it might just be worth it to upgrade this building in order to get access to cast Warriors of Slaanesh, as opposed to using the Halls of Strife and Succor right here for the same effect. Because you got other things to worry about right here. Specifically, you've got to worry about hero structures, hero recruitment, different unit recruitment, so it's kind of not worth it right here to do so. And so you just want to start getting some Forsaken of Slaanesh or Sangors, provided, dependent on what DLC you have. Right now, Dechala right here is rank 7, so is my Drew Key Anointed. And what we're going to do at the moment is we're going to go for the Waylin Village. The reason we want to go for that village is we want to get control of Gelt as a vassal in this campaign. Commandment-wise, different decisions right here, but you can just go for Announce Supremacy for extra campaign movement range, or you can improve the character experience per turn by 200 in a province, or just go for growth if you want to, but it's not really too important right now to go for growth. I mean, you've got a bunch of growth buildings right here. And yes, I do recommend focusing on the growth. You don't want to use thralls, early on at least. You don't want to use them because it will deplete the resource in its element. You don't want to use them for the sake of income. At least not right now. So it's just better to use thralls to, add to the global pool of thralls. That's just the better choice over here with the toll. So yeah, get some Forsaken, get some units, and start marching on Whaley Village. It's turn 8, you could do this faster, but the thing is, you kind of want to wait for Gelt to capture one of these settlements right here, to capture Fu Hong. And you actually want to be able to take the bamboo crossing before Gelt gets there. Okay, so over here I've beaten Gelt to the bamboo crossing. Your mileage may vary on this. Sometimes Gelt might move faster, other times he might move slower, depends on difficulty, depends on randomization, the campaign, especially for minor faction potential. You do want to take the Wiley Village yourself, as opposed to letting Gelt take it over. I've also attached the Cultist of Slaanesh right here to this army. Unfortunately, I don't really have campaign movement range because I would very much like to sack this particular settlement, but just occupy it as a thrall camp, and then with this settlement, you can now sell it to Gelt. You can't sell Whaley Village to Gelt, weirdly enough. It's down to how the territory works, but now you can get Gelt as a vassal, and yes, take all of his money. And with him as a vassal, well, possibilities do open up. Declare war on the factions to the north and let Gelt sort them out, really. Because you don't need to do it yourself. And in fact, it's generally better if Gelt gains control of the province over here to the north. In your pleasure palace, you do want to start getting the paint vaults, and you may even want to get the favored quarters right here, because this gives you Lord and Hero recruit rank and hero capacity. Yes, Dechala is a bit ridiculous, if you will, with regards to this. Now, you could obviously save some of the money right here for different things, but it's just better initially to get the port, for instance, because that gives you thralls added to the global pool, and then you can worry about upgrading the mountain pass. If you do need money, there is a solution on that subject, but it does involve Nakai. So, or rather, Nakai's vassal. So, Rapid Ruination right here, Dark Knowledge, and spell-wise, you will probably want to get your hands on things like Chillwind, Ward of Pain, but that's more of a personal decision. Regardless of that, Nakai's vassal is exceptionally useful because because they have a lot of money, like 46k right here. Yes, the reason they have so much money is their structures produce a significant amount of money and they're not spending it on anything. And on hard campaign difficulties, the AI inherently will be using the money, the AI will inherently get more money because of the baseline income. Anyway, just save up thralls right here. You could even delay a bit with regards to getting some of these structures so you can, just instantly start, so that you can start getting this pleasure palace to tier 3 faster, because you don't need more heroes right now. Decala's army right here is more than capable of dealing with both the Caphans and the vampire counts. You could go to war with Nakai, but it might just be better to let Nakai travel up north. He's right over here, for instance, in this circumstance, and he's going to end up fighting Lokir almost early. When he does end up fighting Lokir, he's likely going to be wiped out by Lokir, but regardless, it's not a priority for you to go deal with Nakai. You've got different campaign objectives, which is just deal with the Burning Wind Nomads, Jade Custodians, Slaanesh in northern provinces and western provinces, right here in this campaign. As I've marched north, I have taken Zhanxi. Maybe Slaanesh has it at this point, or maybe you end up in a similar situation to what I did here, where the northern provinces has wiped out Slaanesh. Regardless, you should be able to just sell Jianxi, assuming it's a high enough level, and just get Lokir as a vassal. Or you might also need to take the Celestial Monastery in order to achieve that level of success. But regardless, with that lovely bit of money, you can start recruiting Chaos Warriors of Slaanesh, Chaos Warriors of Slaanesh with Hell Scourges. Roughly the same unit, really, just some poison attacks, or maybe a combination, at least to deal with Nakai's forces. And at this point, you can really start focusing right here on different things. And even completely just demolish the building right here so you can have the building slots, because you are going to be able to recruit a ton of heroes right here through the Drifting Tower and the Sensuous Caress. And that's really the power of Dechala. It's getting a huge number of heroes in your campaign rather quickly. You can use the various bonus boons of Slaanesh right here, but they do cost Thralls, and Thralls are a very expensive affair. You'll also be able to unlock the Decala's Quest Battle, though I certainly not recommend trying to do that with devoted Marauders of Slaanesh. Get Chaos Warriors, it's a much easier battle if you do have those. But you might ask, obviously, well, how do I get Decala's army to show up to get those Chaos Warriors? Well, one of the things to point out is that cultists of Slaanesh can set up cults. And that is, in fact, what you can use to transfer forces from one point to another. So here's how you do it. You set up one cult right here so you can get back, like let's say in the Village of the Moon, as an example. If you just want to be able to return north once you've dealt with things south with Nakai. And yes, you do want to get as many thralls as possible right here. And remember, money is not a factor in this campaign. If you need money, just trade the Whaley village to Nakai. But it's best to wait on that because of the way region trading works from one race to another. So I'll go over those specifics in just a second. Need to get heroes, need to get cultists, etc. But yes, you do have this kind of slow progress, but play it right, you'll end up being very rich and very, very powerful. Alright, so a couple of turns later, having constructed some of the hero structures, I now have access to 2 cultists of Slaanesh, 3 Chaos Sorcerers, and soon enough I will also have access to Aluris's, as well as Druki Anointed Exalted Heroes of Slaanesh as well. Aluris's are not really the big priority, but the various structures right now are, well, I have a lot of thralls, I have a decent generation of Decadence, though that is not necessarily the big priority, but you can then convert your settlements over here in the Southern Outpost and Mountain Pass to Torment or Holds. Now, why would you do so? Well, the simple reason why you'd want to do so is, one, you have a structure that gives you post-battle loot and income from looting and sacking settlements faction-wide, and another one that increases local recruitment capacity and increases the income from your pleasure palaces as well, and gives you extra experience for units per turn. That is a pretty substantial amount right there that you can use to your benefit. But I've set up a cult right here in the Tower of Ashung. In fact, I might have been better off just recruiting the army right here. And now I am going to start my war against Nakai. I've already started a war with Miao Yang. One of the things to point out is you can sack a settlement without hurting the cult over there. And yes, we can use the thralls right here of Dechala to proliferate cults in certain locations. But the point is, you can recruit a lot of stuff right here. You've also got access to Regiments of Renown. And that combination of things does give you a fairly good level of power. But you do want to upgrade your Alice as quickly as possible to as high of a level as possible over here. But now we prepare for our war with Nakai. And that war is going to be, well, let's just say a bit interesting. because it's not just going to be a war between me and Nakai, it's also going to be a war between Lokir and Nakai, Gelt and Nakai, and you can just ignore it, Cafe. The way diplomacy works, yes, let's go with allegiance. The way diplomacy works with regards to these kind of things is that when you have vassals, very few factions are going to be willing to declare war on you. Yeah, losing the level of Tormentor holds kind of sucks, but your locations kind of suck. So if you're looking to convert certain things, just be aware of that. But anyway, we can sell the Whaley village right here. And yes, that is a biblical amount of fucking money. But anyway, we sell the Whaley village, and the way it works is when you do something like this, you can just reoccupy the settlement instantly, because when you trade settlements to another faction of a different race, they don't get to keep that. They don't get an instant garrison to that settlement. So now, the situation I'm in right here with Dechala is I can take all of these freaking Chaos Warriors, and I'm quite serious on all of them, give up the Marauders, every single one of them, maybe even some of the Forsaken right here. Yes, let's just go there. Move this Aluris to even give Dechala more stuff. Because, yes, we are in that zone, gentlemen. Right here. And, yeah, just, let's say we go with that down that specific path. Okay, we can then disband that if we want to. No, not Dechala. I want to trade it to this one. Disband this army. Just recruiting armies for the sake of having stuff. And then it's like, hello, Nakai. Nice to see you too. And now we do have the ability of fighting our quest battle, finally. I'm using auto-resolve quest battle mod here, but yeah, at this point, you're in a really good position to fight your quest battle. If you want to do it, just keep in mind, it's still one of those damn painful fucking affairs with regards to it. I would recommend having one hero of each type in Decala's army, and yes, getting a bunch of different things. We are going down the rabbit hole right here. This is why you want to get so many thralls so quickly, is because you can do this eventually. It's like, say hello to the Slaanesh hero squad. It is impossible to defeat. And at this point, there's nothing really more to say on that in this campaign. There is no way any faction in the game can defeat this. Like, seriously, you want to look at Decala's army? It's not Chaos Warriors, it's all those lovely heroes that I just recruited right there. Everything past this point, including getting a legendary hero, is kind of just a bit, you know, fluff, if you will. You can get Striker right here if you want to, but you do need to do an assassination mission. Not really a problem. Now, what else do you want to do with Dechala? And you know, once you get to the stage where you're generating 600 thralls per turn, obviously getting to tier 4 is a good thing, getting more pleasure palaces. Getting more pleasure palaces for decadence. With Dechala, the way you want to level her up is understanding that your units, Chaos Warriors, or if you don't have the Champions of Chaos, and I strongly recommend you get it, you can recruit all kinds of different things, but the army is not really important. The army is immaterial. You want to know what your army is? It's called Dechala. So you kind of want to focus on her skill line, though, of course, also buffing her army. Getting Lightning Strike can make things a lot easier as well, but not really. You kind of don't necessarily want Lightning Strike as Dechala, because fighting multiple armies at the same time is to her damn benefit. Okay, research-wise, what you want to get, like, you do want to pick up the rigorous chastisement. You can get grateful enslavement if you want to reduce construction costs. I have 100k by turn 23. It's like, I don't care. But what you want to do after that is you want to pick up Dark Nomination, which gives you, so you want to do two things. One, you want to get Servitude's Grasp into Boons of Slaanesh, then pick up all of these things right here, and eventually get Demonic Attraction. Demonic Attraction will allow you to recruit to all these different demon units. Now, some of these things are worthless, and I think that the research should be a bit split, but on the flip side, you get things like Keepers of Secrets, Pleasure Seekers, Chaos Spears of Slaanesh, Heart Seekers of Slaanesh, Exalted Seeker Champions. With Decadence, you can get various army abilities, though. Slaanesh has a powerful field army, and none of the things here may necessarily help you in sieges. But all the same, you can get these items, can be useful, but I really recommend what you do is save up 1,000 Decadence so you can start getting the campaign buffs. So, the Egotism building chain grants a ward save to Dechala. Okay, not necessarily the biggest thing there, but not all of these things are worth it. There are, however, some things there are that absolutely are. For instance, Fawning Attendants. +5 Lord and Hero recruit rank. And the thing about that Lord and Hero recruit rank of Dechala is that you also have a stacking benefit on that level through the Halls of Exaltation. So this increases Lord and Hero rank by 7. It goes up to 10. We're looking at level 16 Lords and Heroes. And you just, what you do, if you want to get an army to another stage, here's what you do. Like, let's say you don't want to transport things. Well, you can always set up cults, right? Even in allied settlements. So if we consider, let's say if I find a cultist somewhere here, I'm not sure exactly where one is, to be honest with you. But let's say we consider a cult. Well, you can set up a cult in Geld settlement and use that cult to transport back the Dechala right here. So you can recruit units in the Gateway of Koresh. And you can recruit a lot of them, I should point out, because once you get Tormentor holds, each of them increasing local recruitment capacity by 1, you can recruit an entire freaking army very, very quickly, and that's not even considering global recruitment. So don't ignore that. And if you do want to send an army, you can take a settlement on the other side of the map by using the Proliferate Cults ability, taking a settlement right there after having teleport to the Dechala, and you can train a lord in a settlement, a high-ranking one, and then skill him or her. You know, if we're talking about Heralds of Slaanesh, and then a couple of turns after that, you can recruit them on the other side. So, in effect, you can transport high-end armies from your capital between cults using the cult mechanic. You have a lot of cultists. You have a lot of heroes. You have high hero ranks. You can recruit a lot of units instantly. You can use this mobility to significantly improve your campaign capabilities. Now, other things that you can use, of course, Vanity Mirrors for extra experience for Dechala, if you want to. Income from old buildings. I don't necessarily think all of these are worth it, but I do believe that Fawning Attendance is absolutely significant. And then you can worry about the items or army abilities if you want to. Everything beyond that, it's up to you what you want to deal with. Just keep in mind that you do need to defeat Cafe in a campaign in order to win, but that's not really a big priority, because like, let me just put it like this, between Geld and Lokir, there's no chance that Cafe is going to have. And in fact, what I'm going to do with this army right here is I'm literally going to transport Dechala right there once I get some of those heroes on her. I'm going to transport Dechala to deal with the situation. Nakai is right here. Lokir will deal with that situation. In fact, I'm going to give him a mission to do so. Not a problem. Though, bear in mind, when you declare war on Nakai's vassal, your vassals don't instantly join the war against Nakai. So keep that aspect in mind, because Nakai might end up being a problem for you to tackle. That's all I had to say. Costin signing out. Stay tuned for more. I did say very clearly in my tier list that every campaign of Tides of Torment is exceptionally powerful. I was not joking. Now, am I particularly fond of this campaign? Well, I think Dechala is awesome in battle, but yeah, campaign dynamics, it's a fluff campaign. If you want to enjoy that, sure, that's on you. Personally, I still prefer Malachi or Lokir or the Mask if we're talking about Slaanesh. Stay tuned for more.